Hello everyone, we are Valentina Bernardi, Nakarit Narro, Daniela Rodriguez, and Maria Vizcarret, and today we're gonna give you information about languages without writing systems. First of all, we need to know what language is. There are many different definitions of this term. Here we have three from different authors. First, we have Edward Sapirs. He says that language is a purely human and not instinctive method of communicating ideas, emotions, and desires by means of voluntarily produced symbols. This definition makes it clear that we use language to communicate, and that's it. Then we have Black and Tiger's definition. They say that a language is a system of arbitrary vocal symbols by means of which a social group cooperates. This definition focuses more on the social context of language. Finally, we have Hall's definition. He says that language is the institution whereby humans communicate and interact with each other, using oral auditory arbitrary symbols. What calls our attention in this definition is the use of the terms communication and interaction, as well as the term oral auditory. He makes reference to both the hearer and the speaker. In order to talk about languages without writing systems, we also need to know what writing is. This can be defined as the symbolic representation of language through the use of graphic signs. This is a relatively new phenomenon. We can go back 20,000 years ago and look at cave drawings as the first attempt of human writing. If we go back 5,000 years ago, we will find cuneiform writing. This is registered as the first attempt of human writing. Not all languages have a writing system. And even among people whose language has a well-developed writing system, not all of them are able to use them.
According to Ethnologue, there are around 7,099 languages in the world. Obviously, though, most of these languages have very small amounts of speakers, with about 2,000 of them having less than 1,000 speakers. Furthermore, many languages do not have an adopted standard written form, such as the Latin alphabet for English or the Cyrillic alphabet for Ukrainian. Many of the native speakers of these languages are at a large disadvantage in the world today, considering that our global society seems to revolve around record keeping and transactional information. Many of these people are Aboriginal or Native people who have the unfortunate background of living in a land that has been at some time subject to colonization, thus the changing of society leading to the... So, how many languages in the world have no standard written form? Or how many speakers are there of these languages that do not have writing systems? And small language groups. Africa, Asia, and the Pacific are the regions where there are many small language groups, although there is also a large number of small indigenous groups in Latin America. Most of these small languages are not written. The same is true of some larger groups in Africa and Asia, numbering in a few cases more than 1 million speakers. Some groups may not wish to see their language in written form. For many communities, lack of a writing system is yet another factor of marginalization, often compounding others such as small population numbers, minority facing a majority, remote location, economically poor, low resource base, politically without voice, small population numbers, minority facing a majority, remote location, economically poor, low resource base, politically without voice, socially marginalized or stigmatized, and little access to quality social services such as education and health.
Robinson and Cadelli affirm that UNESCO stands for the rights of language communities to use their own language in the written form. The development of these writing systems could be supported by linguists, educationists, and native speakers. This would bring up some opportunities for these communities, such as a greater chance of literacy, which includes the gathering of cultural knowledge, cultural background in stories, practices, prayers, etc. Literacy includes also the development of literature in journalism, advertising, hymnals, poems, etc. And of course, educational purposes come to this part of literacy, and this also includes learning additional languages. Another opportunity comes for cultural expression, which I already mentioned, in the gathering of cultural knowledge, and also this would ensure the participation and representation of minorities in institutions to share their concerns in their own language. Another opportunity is increased cultural and linguistic self-confidence. This community would become proud of their identity because they would consider that their language is in a better state than it used to. Next opportunity, appreciation by others of the unique richness of the language. Some characteristics of human language can be partially preserved in writing. And last but not least, the option to use the language in the electronic media could be another opportunity for these communities. Thank you.
So, guys, now that we know what is language, what is writing system, and how many languages do have writing system and how many don't, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the other side of the coin. So, for those who think that writing system is unnecessarily. Apparently, for those who have master's degrees in major and international linguistics and language, it seems unnecessary and sometimes even irrelevant to develop a writing system for those unwritten languages. So they apparently are, by definition, are very small and spoken by very small groups who will very likely need to learn another language with writing systems instead of developing one. So many arguments on favor of this is that, first of all, there are too many languages in the world, so particularly in some highly multilingual countries, so it's not necessarily. The second one is that people should simply learn other languages with writing systems that they are already written, of course. And a small language are limited use anyway. The fourth one, it will be too expensive apparently to develop writing systems for those languages who doesn't have one. And number 5, we have that people don't really want to write in their own language because they are mostly desperate to learn English. And the last one, it seems like it will induce some kind of disrespect towards ceremonies or traditions of some communities where those languages without writing systems are developed. So apparently these arguments look at language from the point of view of managing a problem rather than developing an asset. Apparently, while they raise important issues which must be considered in each context, they are dismissive of the rich diversity of human speech and communication. For example, UNESCO has documented the many international declarations and arguments which call for attention to developing the world's language research, recognizing that each language is a unique instrument of communication and identity for a particular group of people and a specific culture. they say that developing writing system matters, that this is important because the place of each language occupies in today's world, it matters. It means that that place is very important. Finally, guys, and to conclude this presentation, we have some fun facts about writing systems that we'd like to share with all of you. The first one is that human language has been around for 10,000 of years. Interesting, no? So the second one is, while there are some disagreements among linguistics and anthropologists and archaeologists about the exact timeline, the consensus is that human speech arose at least at 1800 years ago. Whatever the real number is exactly, it is said that the speech, though the way that we speak, the oral productions of world has been around far longer than the written system. The third one is that many African languages don't have a writing system, don't have a writing form. And it was only into 1967, for example, that writing system was developing in Bambara. The next one is that, in fact, and according to Ethnologue, almost 3,900 languages in the world are written as well as spoken. The remaining 45% of all living languages do not have a writing form. And the last one is that the oldest written languages was believed to be written in about 4,500 before Christ, BC. So you guys, this was our presentation. I hope you enjoyed and you like it. So thank you for watching.